to talk about the history of manufacturing in the last 10 years. In New York City, 10 years ago, what people wanted to make was money. They wanted trophy cars, trophy wives, trophy apartments. Then the economy collapsed and people wanted to make things on Etsy. So they wanted to make clocks, and they wanted to make birds, and they wanted to make birds with clocks on them, and they wanted to make crazy things that ended up on a site called Regretsy. For some reason, after that phenomenon occurred, people all wanted to make cupcakes. And the whole fucking city was just covered with cupcake places. And I can't really understand that. And after that, everyone wanted to make apps. So people were going to change the world by making apps. And these apps were going to, make the way that everybody interacts be so much better and so much more close, except for they were in little dark rooms playing with themselves. Finally, Kickstarter came along, and people decided that what they really wanted to do was they wanted to make companies. And everybody became a venture capitalist, and they wanted to whiteboard the shit out of everything, and they wanted to hang out together and wear jeans to work, and they wanted to have collaborative work environments, and it kind of put things together in an interesting way. After that, people wanted to mix it all up. So they wanted to make products, they wanted to make companies, and they wanted to learn and work together in many of the ways that James just mentioned. The question was, how do we conquer the manufacturing question in the US? Noam Chomsky, I think, said, I don't understand why people say there's no manufacturing district in the US. There is. It's called China. I don't know if Noam Chomsky said it, so we just have a panda up here representing China. We live in New York City. It's one of the most amazing places on earth, and we're good at a lot of things. We have great ideas. We have amazing design, and we have great marketing, but we absolutely suck at manufacturing. For a long time, we started looking at a bunch of different companies while we were preparing to put together the New Lab concept. And we studied a company, for example, called Dodo Case in California. What's important to us about Dodo Case is they had a fully integrated manufacturing system in their shop. They would design, they would manufacture, and they would do mass customization right there in the same place. The other trend that came up was obviously, as James just mentioned, digital printing and digital manufacturing. One of our tenants at New Lab, Sia Mandavi, creates software for 3D printing machines. His software printed 30,000 facial implants last year. 30,000. So the idea that manufacturing is going digital and the idea that you can sell direct to consumers has created a mega trend. The other thing that we have now that we didn't have 10 years ago is crazy amounts of data. And what data gives us now is everything from perfecting the supply chain, to understanding how things are shipped, to understanding how resources are used and exploited, to understanding how things are distributed. So the answer, as far as we're concerned, is that all of these things are going to create the next trend going forward. And the next trend going forward incorporates direct-to-consumer marketing, a process where people can design and manufacture in the same spot, and a place where you can create small batch items that create viable businesses that are bigger than on Etsy. Conventional wisdom says that to make something in larger batches than 10,000, you have to go to China. What we're interested in is batches of 1 to 10,000. We can't compete for cheap labor with China, but we can compete in terms of innovation and design, and we think this is really important. This is an example of one of the projects that are happening in New Lab. Marcel's going to speak later. Marcel has design, prototyping, not quite yet manufacturing, and marketing all in the New Lab. And the goal is, how can Marcel create his product here in the New Lab in the future? When I first walked into this building, it was building 128. That's Matthew Hopkins, who's standing in the back. Matthew took us in there with Andrew Kimball, the last president of the Navy Yard, and they said, what do you think this place should be? How can we make this a real green manufacturing center? And after thinking about it for a while, what we decided was, exactly as we mentioned on the last slide, we want to create a non-denominational MIT Media Lab. We want to take the creative people who are interested in making hardware and technology and taking it to the next level and give them access to amazing machines, to amazing other inventors, and to a space that kind of resonates in terms of the stuff that they're making. The idea originally came from Third Ward, or a modification of a concept. This is a project I did in Philadelphia, with a group called Third Ward, which Third Ward was sort of one of the pioneers as maker spaces. We wanted to create a professional version of Third Ward, a version where people who were not only just sort of learning for the first time, but maybe having their second or third company, and were really interested in collaborating on bringing products to market or ideas in education together, could work. And this group largely spun out of 33 Flatbush, which James just presented. The idea for manufacturing in the future is sort of an integrated model, we believe. We believe that there's a huge market. We're trying right now to not only have the design and fabrication space and 3D printing space, but we're also looking at creating technologies and synergies with large companies and sponsors to create an integrated product line so that people can design, manufacture, and integrate and innovate all in the same place. So if there's one thing to take from the presentation, is that the lines are kind of all getting rather imagined, right? Architects now need to learn programming, designers now need to learn about manufacturing, and we believe that what proximity breeds, and what hopefully the New Lab's mission will accomplish, is that when people understand what technology is available, it changes the way they think about design. When people understand degrees of manufacturing or how things are made, it changes the way that they think about their businesses. So what we hope the New Lab will do is grow businesses, grow innovations, and grow a large community like yourselves to join us. So thank you very much.